And, I hate to say this, but I think I'm in 1935 and I'm sitting opposite Joseph Goebbels right now, and he's making the propaganda case for the Nazi regime, just the way this professor is making the propaganda case for the new Nazi regime, which is the regime of Iran. Will you at least admit, sir, will you at least admit that Iran murdered in cold blood as many as 50,000 innocent protesters? And would you admit, if that's true, that that comes closer to genocide than anything that Israel has been accused of doing in self-defense after its people were raped, kidnapped, murdered on October 7th? Would you at least admit that the Iranian regime has killed many, many, many thousands of people? Yes or no?
We are not in 1935. We are
Yes or
not
no?
in
Yes or no?
1939. We are in 1942. You are the Nazi regime that is carrying out a Holocaust in Gaza. You are the Nazi who is doing it as we speak. You're the evil monster. You say Israel is not a colonial regime? You're from Eastern Europe. You're European. All of those Ashkenazi Jews who are now running the country, they're from Eastern Europe. You came and slaughtered. I'm talking. I didn't interrupt you as you were ranting. The people who you support, the people who are running the country, they're Polish. They're Ukrainian. They're from Czechoslovakia. They're from Eastern Europe. You're not even Semite. You're the anti-Semite because you've been slaughtered. You won't let me talk. You are afraid. You're afraid because you know you have no argument. You have no leg to stand on. You slaughtered the Semite Palestinians and you took their land. And you are a proud Zionist who supports a regime that celebrates the rapists in prison. They rape Palestinians in prison and then they're celebrated on television. This is, if you don't let me talk, you're just exposing yourself. You're exposing yourself. You're exposing yourself just as you exposed yourself with Epstein.
I'm Israel.
So in response to your nonsense, the nonsense about 50,000 people, those lies have been responded to by the Iranian people. Stop ranting. I'm speaking. You're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. 3,117 people died thanks to an armed insurgency that your regime and the Israeli regime funded and supported. You're a coward. You are a coward. You won't let me talk. You're afraid. You're afraid of me talking.
Don't tell me I'm afraid.
The lawyer, Epstein's lawyer, Trump's lawyer, is afraid of me, a layman, talking. Why? Because you have no leg to stand on. The Iranian people have spoken. They went to the streets in the tens of millions. They went. You're a coward. You won't let me talk. I let you talk because I'm not afraid of you. People are not afraid of you anymore. You can kill Epstein. You can kill whoever you like, but we're not afraid. You can bomb my house. You can kill me with my family, but I'm not afraid of you. I will support the Palestinian people until your regime bombs my home. So go and tell them that. I'm prepared to die for the Palestinian people. But you who used to frequent Epstein Island, you have no principles and no morality. The Iranian people came to the streets in the tens of millions. We all know it. The footage is there. The international journalists were there, not just in Iran, but in Iraq. The Iranian people have spoken whose side they are. No one is going to be fooled by your propaganda to justify war.
Well, let's get this lawsuit
Okay, Alan
straight.
Dershowitz.
How many times do you think I was at Jeffrey Epstein's island? How many times? Say it again so we could get it on tape. How many times?
One time is more than enough, but I think you've been there 5-6 times.
Multiple times. How many times do you think I was there?
I think you were there 5-6 times.
Say it again. 5-6 times? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
I was his lawyer, just the way I was the lawyer for Palestinians.
What a naive lawyer.
No, don't interrupt me. I was the lawyer for Palestinian students who tried to hang the flag when Yasser Arafat died. I was the lawyer for Nazis in Skokie, Illinois. I helped represent them. I would even represent you if anybody tried to prevent
I
you
don't
from.
need you.
I'm a lawyer,
I don't
and
need you.
lawyer does, and that's what lawyers should be proud of. I mean, I'm going to continue to represent people you don't like as long as I have the courage, strength to do it. And you can cite that as an argument against Israel, but it has nothing to do with Israel. It's just an ad hominem attack on me as a lawyer and on the American legal system. You wouldn't understand the American legal system because you don't have a
yourself
legal
said you regret being his lawyer, so don't talk nonsense.
Say it again.
You yourself admitted that you regret being his lawyer, so don't talk nonsense to me.
I don't regret being his lawyer. I'm proud to have been
regret.
I'm proud to have been President Clinton's lawyer. I'm proud to have been Ted Kennedy's lawyer. I'm proud to have been the lawyer for hundreds of indigent people who didn't have enough money to have a lawyer. And I would be happy to go to Iran and represent the people who can't get lawyers there, who were executed yesterday because they went to demonstrations. You have to say what you're saying.
The two people who were executed yesterday, and I've tweeted the footage. The two people, I'm glad you said this. You are so naive. You're not a good lawyer. I tweeted this yesterday, and I will retweet it after this debate. The two people who were executed yesterday, they burned 4 police officers alive and stabbed them.
Who were executed before that?
They were executed because of murdering 4 police officers. So I will retweet that today. But that's and that, by the way, what happened during that armed? Don't be afraid. Let me explain. Don't be afraid of people listening. You are the one. You are the one from the civilized world. You are the proud Zionist, the ethno supremacist that we should all be listening to. So don't worry about what. Don't worry if people hear what I say. Your own Israeli regime, the regime that you love so much, is self-admitted that they were behind the armed insurgency. Channel 14 of the Israeli regime, which is close to Netanyahu itself, said, and I tweeted this, and others have too, that the Israeli regime, they helped send in, along with Americans, they helped send in the weapons that killed hundreds of police officers during those 2 days of armed insurgency. Your own regime admits it. Your own regime admits it.
I hope that's true. I would like to see the United States and Israel together topple the Iranian regime and replace it by a democratic regime where all people can vote and all people have free speech. I would be happy to participate in any such attempt to try to topple this Nazi regime. That's what would have happened in 1935 if they had done the right thing. We have a chance now to have peace in the world by toppling the Iranian regime. It won't happen overnight. It won't happen quickly. But ultimately, the good people of Iran, will rise up against their evil leaders who kill them in the street and will give them, ultimately, for the first time, real democracy. That's what we want.
So says the genocide supporter. The genocide supporter who's supporting an ongoing genocide where every day Palestinians are dying, every single day as we speak. And Western media won't tell anyone about it because it's controlled by the same sort of people who you are aligned to. Those kids who are dying of disease every day. Those parents who are dying every day because of a lack of proper food and medicine. You are responsible. And all those Western journalists who've been trying to distract public opinion away from it. The only guilt of the Iranian people, and Hezbollah and Yemen is that they say no to genocide. That has been the guilt for 47 years. For decades, your regime has been supporting the apartheid and genocidal regime of Israel and supporting the most brutal regimes across the world in Latin America and Africa, in our region and in Asia. But Israel, the only time, but your hostility is towards Iran because Iran says no to ethno-supremacism, just like 46% of young Jews in the United States. Iran says no to genocide, no to ethnic cleansing, no to colonization, and that Palestine must be a land where Jews and Christians and Muslims live as equal human beings. Your regime, your Israeli regime, because you're not loyal to the United States, you're loyal to the Israeli regime, to the genocidal regime. Your regime bombed it during this war. Your regime bombed a synagogue. Your regime bombed a synagogue in Tehran. Why? Because that synagogue was not a Zionist synagogue. You hate Jews. You hate Jews that are not Zionists. You are an anti-Semite because you kill Palestinians, and you're from Eastern Europe. You have no right to slaughter and rape and murder